It's been a busy few days for the Sussexes and the Prince and Princess of Wales, with Harry and Meghan in Germany for the Invictus Games, and Kate and William have been tackling addiction and mental health awareness at home. There's been some speculation about the PR strategies of both the royal couples. Are they trying to sort of win the war of who could be the most relatable? Joining me to discuss this is the host of the To Die For daily podcast, Kinsey Schofield, and the royal editor, Robert Jobson. Good evening to you both. Kinsey, we'll start with you. The Invictus Games, so far, this is Harry at home, isn't it? He's in his element. How has it gone? And now Meghan's joined him. Has this been a bit of a PR success or fallen a bit flat?
I mean, I absolutely think it's been a success for, their ultimate objective is to not look like they're continuing to fail. And the Invictus Games, which was that template was created by the palace. We have to acknowledge that this is a template that was created by the palace. They've got to nurture this because this is their only legitimate success. So I do think that both are putting in as much energy as they can to make this come off as a success, because everything else has really proven to be difficult for them to professionally.
At the same time, Robert, we've seen Kate and William doing much more sort of the day-to-day work, meeting out with the public. Kate was at a prison yesterday. How well has that all gone for them this week?
Well, I mean, it's really what they've been doing over many, many months. I mean, just slowly but surely. We're seeing more, Catherine's more solo these days. You've seen at the rugby on her own as a patron of English rugby, and then she's at that prison. I think because there's less, there are fewer royals, they're going to have to spread out a little bit further. So solo engagements, I think, will be something that will happen more and more. We saw them with that podcast, which was Mike Tyndall, The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby, very relaxed and very confident in the way that they address the situation. So they quite like that format. Whereas, and also I think that Harry, when we talk about the Invictus, look, the Invictus has gone very well for Harry. To be fair to him, it was really more of his idea and commercial people that got together rather than the palace. The palace didn't have an awful lot to do with it, to be honest, and it was him the driving force. And I think that he's done pretty well with that. And Meghan too, they both arrived. They seem to be liaising very closely with the local press, the guys that are there, including people that they're about to sue, the different organisations. So they're obviously reaching out, really, because they probably need to, as Kinsey was saying.
Robert, how much sort of communication is there when these events get planned? Because there's been a bit of speculation that, PR teams might be trying to upstage the other and take press attention away. Would Harry and Meghan have any sort of idea of the timeline of what's happening with the royals back at home to make sure one doesn't sort of upstage the other?
Well, I don't think Harry and Meghan would be that concerned about upstaging the royals. I mean, we saw when he flew in for the World Child event on the anniversary of the Queen's death, that he made his speech, and of course that upstaged the King and upstaged William and what they were doing the following day. So I don't think he cares about that too much. But I think with Invictus, he'd be fully aware of what Meghan and Harry are doing. I'm pretty certain that that William and Kate are not overly bothered, and they know when the Invictus Games is, but they've got a schedule to stick to. They know they're involved in the Rugby World Cup. They know they've got engagements to go to. So I don't think they're going to govern their plans or their engagements around what Meghan and Harry are doing.
Kinsey, is this an opportunity for Harry and Meghan to see that this event's gone so far really well? They're in their element. This could be a bit of a rhythm they could follow. This is a pattern that says this type of work works for us.
I wish it would be, but we're seeing based on their actions that Meghan Markle wants to pursue the spotlight. She wants to pursue Hollywood, whether that's producing behind the scenes or having her picture taken with Kerry Washington. Meghans Objectives seem to be very different from Prince Harry's. I think he is going to pursue some of those, charity. I do think we're going to see him really kind of phase out of the Hollywood element. And that surprises me because I think he liked it at the beginning. But I do think that he's taken note of people's reactions to their work over the last few years in the States. And he's decided that he's going to stick to what he knows. And that's, the voice for some of these charities.
Kinsey, I believe that Meghan is going to close the Invictus Game with a speech. What might she say?
Rosie, why are you doing this to me? I never know when it comes to Meghan Markle. It will probably be something very generic that we might have heard from Zig Ziglar or somebody like that in the past.
So she's going to toe the line. It's not going to be controversial.
Not at all. No, not at all. It will be generic. It's something you'd find in a fortune cookie.
Robert, from their perspective, the Sussexes, the sort of press attention that they've had for the Invictus Games, do you think they will think that's a chance for them to have a bit of a softening with the public here in the UK?
I think they're more concerned with the public in America and the way that things turned against them over there a little bit. Kinsey's right in what she's saying. I think that Meghan is desperate to pursue a more of a Hollywood career rather than Harry. I think that Harry misses part of his old life. I mean, I think that there's no doubt about that. But the reality is that's where he's going to be. I don't think they're worried about trying to woo the British public. The British public is pretty much not on their side. You look at the recent polls, it's pretty negative. I think what matters to them are the numbers in America, and that's particularly with Meghan now.
Do you think there's a bit of a danger that maybe the British public, Robert, get used to the fact that William and Kate, they don't really put a foot wrong?
Well, they do their best. I mean, I think that they're both very careful the way they organise themselves. Their PR team are very good, led by Lee Thompson. He's a good guy, formerly with NBC. So they've got some good people around them. They do listen to the media. They do read the media directly. So they're obviously very conscious of what's going on. And I think that actually William and Kate are a natural couple. I think what you see is what you get. I don't think any of it stays. That wonderful cute wave that she gave when she was at rugby, it was all very natural. I don't get the same feeling when it comes to Meghan and Harry, but maybe I'm being a bit too cynical. They've done a very good job in the Invictus Games. Harry got a standing ovation when he arrived. He's done immense work for those guys and girls that have served and ended, had some terrible difficulties, and have actually used the Invictus Games to sort of get over many of those problems. So I think he's done well with this, and long may it continue. My only hope is that he can continue to raise the money, because it costs an awful lot of money. And when he was a royal, I think a lot of governments, like in the places they went before, were very supportive. I just hope that continues, because it's very important for those ex-servicemen and women. Yeah,
and for some of those people, it has truly transformed their lives, taking part and competing. Thank you both very much. The perspective from the States and here in the UK. Kinsey and Robert, really appreciate your time.